Hey, family, welcome to How Love Works, where we talk about the principles for lasting love. All right, season three. I believe we're episode 6, and this was something else, family. This was something else. I tell you, I was a little bit taken back on this one, just a little bit. I was a little surprised, is what I mean. I was a little surprised. I'm not shocked by a lot of things that us human beings do because, of course, of you guys know my little Christian background, or I like to use the Hebraic phrase, my messianic understanding of mankind, because we're all sinners. So we all have that capacity to go to the dark side at any moment. So I'm going to get right into this right now. And I want to talk about, friends and family, basically. That's exactly how it went down. They brought the friends and family in to do the third degree on the brothers. Just to keep everything fair, it would have been nice to bring some brothers, some females from the brother side. But I guess if I'm gonna think about it in realistic terms, I guess the brothers ain't probably going that far into the relationships like I would think a woman might go, because she is looking at more of the partnership side of the equation, and the brothers might be still in the evaluation mode. So I'm gonna go ahead on and get started here. I'm gonna start out with Califani and Anthony, and when Denise brought her best friend in, and she asked a pretty eh, pretty common question. Question simply is, I'm gonna go ahead and read. What does marriage look like to you? So she asked both the brothers, and it appeared to me that when I was watching it, Anthony was a little taken back. He was a little upset. He wasn't showing it, but I could see he was feeling something. But I like his answer. He pretty much said that, he's going to be the man of the house, but at the same time, he's not going to be an ogre. He's not going to be a drill sergeant. He's not going to be that guy that's going to be trying to control and manipulate and coerce his woman. He wants to be a loving leader. In a sense, that's exactly what he said. That's in a nutshell where he came from. Then, of course, the same question was directed to Califani. Of course, Califani, in my view, he kind of stole his preamble. He stole the beginnings of what Anthony said. He gonna be the man. And then I think the only thing that set him apart was the fact that he used that Christian terminology about eliminating. I think he said something having to do with eliminating, what is the term? I think I wrote it down. Generational curses. Okay, I'm with that. I feel that. I kind of think it was a nice answer, one way or the other. I don't know, but what got me was the way she responded to it, Denise. I love him. I love him. Anthony ain't got a chance. That boy ain't got a chance. All right, that girl is gone. She is totally smitten by this dude. Okay. Now, the next one is Rasheed, right? I like, her friend and everything. The friend we're talking about is Adriana's friend. She had asked him pretty much the same question. She said to him, what does marriage look like to him? But before I even entertain that question, I like the way Rasheed took ownership uh, in how his relationship failed with his first wife and his first marriage. And he didn't do what a lot of people tend to do. They tend to point the finger primarily at the ex. he didn't do that. I really got to give him propers for that one. But his answer was really good, as far as I was concerned, when he basically let Adriana's friend know that sexuality and looks, being an ex-married man for 10 years, a whole decade, he recognizes that stuff fades. That stuff fades. So he was coming from a more substantive answer, a substantive place. He wasn't looking at it from the surface. He was letting her friend know, look, we have to be able to connect on a spiritual and an emotional level in order for our relationship to continue to be spontaneous and we continue to grow as a couple. And that checked off all her boxes. And the only thing I noticed when I was watching Adriana is she thought that was nice and everything, but I like what her friend told her. That let me know she has a real friend. She said, when you was telling me about Califani, I mean, everything was pretty much, superficial, and there's a whole lot of symbolism. In other words, I'm saying that she was letting her know that everything was about how you are feeling and how he makes you feel. It's all about emotionalism. It's sexual and it's sensual. And you guys know that I'm all about all of that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It has its place. But sexual attraction doesn't do it. It's a big nothing burger. It will not keep a relationship. It just won't. I'm telling you what I know, people. It won't do it. I don't care what your wife look like. I don't care what your husband look like. I don't care what he did for you in the beginning. And I don't care what she used to do in the beginning. It is not going to do it. And her friend told her, when you was talking about Rasheed, I didn't get that. All right. Now, Jay and Edwin. Obviously, it was a little uncomfortable. Jay and Edwin brought Winter and they brought Joy, which in my view are the top two most popular women right there at the resort. I'm sorry. And I like the questions that both friends asked both the men. And I'm going to just go directly into those questions. The first question that was asked was, okay, tell me, what is different with Joy from Winter? I mean, in other words, why is Joy, what separates her from Winter? What is it about Joy that separates her from Winter? Now, it was a very direct, but it was a very thoughtful question. He had to think it out. But he thought very well on his feet. He gave her a nice salesy answer. He said, well, I'm not going to disappoint and say there was something negative about it, either woman, because to be fair, he hasn't really been going into any real details about what he needs in a spouse. They haven't had that conversation with either woman. So what he did, he gave a real safe answer, and it was, well, both of the women are powerful, both of them have different energies, and both of them are unique. And I have nothing really negative to say about either one. They're just different, but they're both are very positive. And then I like Joy's friend's question when she was talking about hierarchies of desire, basically. And so she was asking, in essence, based upon your hierarchies, you like both women. I get that, Jay. I get that, Edwin. But based on your hierarchy, which woman is number one and which woman is number two? Jay, straight up, Joy. Joy, joy, joy. Okay? And number two, obviously, was Winter. Edwin, number one, Winter. Obviously would be Joy would be number two, right? But I can see the disappointment in Winter's eyes, but I do like the way in which she accepted the reality. She verbalized her emotions. She said, well, no one likes to feel second place. The implication is she wanted to be first. But it is what it is. All right. Now, let's move on. Bryant. Bryant, my brother Bryant. Well, Bryant obviously got the hardest question as far as I'm concerned. Alex's friend looked him dead in the face and said, "Have you ever cheated before?" And then he gave the typical answer of to me, a man that hasn't really resolved in himself what he really needs and wants. He might be still being one of those guys that just want to play the field. So he go, huh? And she go, no, don't play with me. Don't lie to me. Tell me, have you ever cheated? Of course he has. That doesn't mean every man does, but of course he has. And so when he gave his Madison Avenue real slick Willie answer that sounded really pronounced and profound and virtuous, it wasn't well received by Alex. She appeared to be a little off-put. It was a little off-putting, his answer. And so I think now the level of trust that she hoped to have achieved is now been found wanting. Okay, let's move on. Last but not least, my brother Chris. Now I like Chris. I like Chris. I like Winter, and I have hopes for the people that I like. But I don't get to call the shots, and I don't really know these people. So I'm looking at first impression is all I'm going on. And so I like Chris. And of course, I liked a few other people that got kicked off. But, it is what it is. Now, Chris, unfortunately, he didn't answer the question very well. When Naya's cousin asked him about finance and how he felt about finance, he fumbled that question. It was the same thing he did when Andrea asked him a question. When she was upset with Bryant not coming to her room, and she asked him a pretty simple, straightforward question. She said, well, if you were talking to a woman and she wanted you to come back to her room later that night and you didn't really want to spend that time with her, what would you say? And so he just, he didn't have an answer for that. And then she turned to Anthony. Anthony just boom, boom, boom. He put the answer right out there. Now, I'm speculating again because I don't know the man, but based on the way he answers the questions, he's not a slick Willie type of guy. He doesn't go around, just off the top of his head lying to women. He literally thinks about what they ask him. And he's not that guy. He's really a good guy. In my view, he's a one-woman man. He's not into multiple females. He's just not. Give me one woman, I'm good. That's the kind of guy he is. He's got that big heart. But when he got that question on the finance, my goodness, woo! I kind of threw him for a loop, that question on the finance. Because you remember, guys, when he first got on the show and they were doing his bio, it said that he was a social activist. And, I don't want to, paint people into a corner and just because someone says they're social activists that makes them liberal, or someone goes to church that makes them conservative. That may not be the case. But based upon his answer, it's not much of a stretch to believe that he believes in I guess you might say, feminism or equality. And so he feels like he's just going to, fit in where he can fit in. And she, the woman, she got to go in zones. She got this business. She making some serious coin. All he's going to do is come in there and, split the difference with her. And he thought he was, that she would just reciprocate and just fall all over him and say, yeah, I'm woman, hear me roar. I'm all that. He thought that's what it was all about. But she was looking for a more traditional man. Somebody like me. she wants somebody like me. The money my wife makes, that money is the opposite. Her money just comes in and do a little here, a little there, and you throw the rest of it up. My money pays for all of this. Might not be much to most, but it's good enough for us. But it pays out all of this. Pays the mortgage, pays the car payment, pays for the food, pays for the insurance. Both health insurance, car insurance, pays for it all. See, that's what she wanted. Now, to Chris's credit, he went to his homegirl, Joy. Been knowing her since 2015. Got a reboot, right? He ended up resetting. He went right back to her. Now, she wasn't feeling it. Naya wasn't feeling that. Because, of course, she had 4 miscarriages. And apparently, I don't know if it was because 4 different baby daddy types, or maybe one dude, and she tried to carry the load, be all she can be, try to work, and at the same time carry a baby. And 4 times she lost the baby. So of course she was going to get triggered by that question if he didn't answer it properly. And he didn't, as far as she was concerned. And you guys heard, he gonna make that mortgage payment. He gonna make that car payment. He gonna make them utility payments. He gonna buy the food. He gonna do this, that. And if I have to lay on my back for 9 months and carry this baby. Now, she did say from the outset, let's keep it real now. She said she always had a dream. That was her dream, that Martin Luther King thing. I got a dream. I have a dream that one day she was going to be somebody else's missus, and she was going to pop out a few kids. She was going to have a house and a little white picket fence. That's what she wanted. That was her dream. Okay, well, it didn't turn out that way because my brother didn't answer right. Now, let's get on to this last part. And this is the part that got me, is when Tommy came in, brought all the ladies into his little room and asked them questions. Now, Denise, she started talking some crazy stuff like always. She already she on another planet with this dude, California. Now, she says she has a deep spiritual connection. No, you might have a deep spiritual connection. I don't know about California, though. If you ask me, California ain't necessarily feeling her the way she's feeling him. But I digress. Then Adriana, her friend said that he said all the right things. She said he said all the right things. She said that Rasheed was safe, but she wasn't really wanting necessarily to be with Safe. She about to mess up. Same thing with Denise. She about to mess up. All right. Winter. Basically, Winter said her friend didn't think much of either man. We kind of have an idea where Winter's heart is. I kind of think Winter really want to be with Jay, but I think she's open and realistic enough to know that, that ship probably has sailed. So she need to be either considering, stepping away from the whole program and the whole show if she can't have who she thinks she needs to be with or wants to be with, or maybe giving another opportunity to another brother. Time will tell. Okay. Then you have Alex. Alex, she already said that she has issues right now with Bryant, but I like what Joy said to her. She said, because of the way Bryant dealt with that issue with Alicia, she's done with him. She has made a decision. She can't trust him, so she's done. But what was interesting is what she said to Alex. She said to Alex, you don't make good decisions. I would dare to say that Joy is correct. But Joy can be blunt. Joy got a little alpha in her. I don't know if Jay and Joy are going to be able to be compatible because they both alphas. And that don't work. Not at all. And Simone, now everyone knows her friend wasn't able to make it to the resort. But the only comment I can say about Simone is when Naya was in that meeting and she decided that she was going to say something in defense of Chris, she was shut down. I mean, immediately. But I personally think going forward, I think she's going to do well. I think she's a sleeper. I think she's going to possibly might end up in the top 3. I could be wrong. We shall see. Now, I'm going to end this segment with Naya. Everybody know what Naya had to say about Chris. I got a lot of things I can say about Naya, but I don't want to spend an hour on her. I think it's obvious. I think if you look at the comments on all the people that are reviewing this program, that most people have had issues with Naya. My biggest issue with Naya is the fact that she seems to have taken a situation and the way she described it to Tommy, which got me a little bit flustered when he spoke to her in his way, being Tommy. She had an attitude that said, you know, I don't even understand where this is coming from, Tommy. The only thing I was doing when it came to Mr. Chris is that I was just indulging his what was she say? I think she said she was just indulging his interests in a sense. She wasn't really into the man. Y'all all got it wrong. I was just indulging his interests. That's all I was doing. And then, because you know how Tommy is, Tommy said, you know, you had it going. Let me see if because I wrote down this quote. He said that she was gun ho, and she turned around and said she wasn't gun ho for nobody. I'm going, oh, okay. Now this is the way she gonna be. This is the way she gonna act. Now, what I didn't like about her was that attitude. First of all, that she wasn't gun ho for anybody. Now all of a sudden, she goes over and starts dealing with your boy, and you know who I'm referring to, starts dealing with Edwin. Edwin gives her the answer she wants to hear. But what really seemed to get me is how she started going right into sexual attraction. She you know, she all up in his face. He didn't expect that. She rubbing his neck, rubbing his head. She throwing tongue down his face. I mean, the whole deal. Come on now. I don't even have to go down that road. We know how this story go in. She don't even know. This is what I mean. Now she probably acted toward Chris. She responded or overreacted with Chris based upon all the things we have been saying. It was based out of fear. It was purely out of fear. But what I didn't like is how she handled it. She didn't handle the situation like a woman who was like more of a queen. She didn't sit down with the man and and tell him why and what it meant to her to have someone who would be more traditional. That brother had an open heart. She could have got him to do what she needed. But because he didn't come correct the way she wanted him to come to correct, she just dropped him like a hot potato. It was like no feeling at all. And then when he came back and he was trying to explain himself and change the circumstances, try to restore the energy, she didn't even want to hear no more. I mean, that was cold. I mean, cold. And then all of a sudden she hot for Edwin. She don't even know. She the third draft pick when it comes to Edwin's team. Edwin's into Joy, Winter, and she the third pick on the team. He ain't into her. He just had that one breakfast with her that time. They got to talking. He was impressed with her emotional strength. He even mentioned that. And he said, maybe I might have to give her some more consideration. And in that situation with Chris, her, and her cousin, it didn't go the way she wanted. So she went off the deep end, got angry with her cousin because she didn't hear what she wanted to hear. She got angry with Chris because she didn't hear what she wanted to hear. She got angry with Simone. She got angry with Alex. She got angry with Tommy because she didn't like what she was hearing. So I'm saying to myself, if that is how short her wick is, I can just imagine what life would be like with a woman like that when you don't come correct the way she thinks you should come. And if you don't understand her the way she thinks you should understand her. And if you don't speak to her the way she thinks you should speak to her. I'm sorry to say, if I had to choose between the next two that'll probably be going down the road, I can see Denise and I can see Naya going down the road. Because I don't see a future for Naya, especially with Edwin. I don't see anybody else talking to her. Because what happened, I saw my man's face, Chris, he was totally bewildered. He was lost. See, that's going to make a good man say, I don't want nothing to do with women. Because in his mind, she totally misrepresented herself. She gave him the impression that she was into him. She gave everybody the same, everybody wrong. She gave everybody the same impression, and especially him. But then when she didn't hear what she wanted, she became an ice cube. Just like that. Totally, like if she could do that, that sounds like that's kind of pathological. That's kind of scary. But that's my time. I thank you for yours. I catch you on the other side. God bless you.